Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO, faster than Akuma's drop-off. A quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode. It really helps us. I'm Logan. This is Aizyesque. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about a bunch of teams and how we can fix their problems. Will we actually fix their problems? I have no clue. We're also going to talk about Sinners and their rise to ESL Pro League and the incredible things that Mouse's Academy has done. Roll the intro. So today's a weird week because we're 9 days before Cologne, so it doesn't make sense to make a podcast about Cologne yet. And nothing else is happening other than the CIS RMR, which is like 2 days in.
What's going on? I'm pretty busy at the moment. I'm managed to fit in podcasting into my very busy schedule.
How busy is the schedule?
I am actually working Tuesday till Saturday on DreamHack NA and Asia, but only for the final, bizarrely.
Okay.
But so I'm relatively busy. I finally got my first vaccination shot on Saturday, so I'm half vaccinated. Which
hey, half vaccinated is better than no vaccinated.
Yeah, probably. I couldn't use my arm for a day. That was a bit infuriating.
Yep, it's terrible.
It's
yeah, I got a what is it? I got a call time tonight for tech rehearsal, and then I'm on analyst desk on Thursday for a tournament.
Hell yeah.
Hyped. Yeah, it's a best of 3 and then a best of 5, which sounds like super fun. Or it's 3 best of 3s. I haven't. It hasn't been very clear.
Best of 5s as analyst and production is actually a hell of a lot easier than best of 3 because you sort of minimize the amount of time between games. It's 15 minutes between games, so you don't actually have that long in between games. It's much easier. Whereas best of 3s take a long time. So probably easier if it's best of 3 than best of 5, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told best of 3. I was told 3 best of 3s, but then I looked at the rules and it said best of 5, so I don't know. I'll find out tonight.
Yeah, just go with the flow. Easy. That's part of the trick of being on the desk, being able to just go with anything. I think. Not that I know, obviously, but from what I've learned from working for you. Ever work with Stunner? That guy is an absolute genius at that. He will just he'll rock up on camera 6 seconds before you go live, and he'll just act as if, and he's
nothing's happened.
So professional, and he can segue anything into anything with because he's so charismatic. Even the most nonsense segue just works because he just plays it off as if it makes sense.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm not hosting, which means I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So I just have to talk about games, which I can do.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Counter-Strike. So we've decided that this week we're basically going to do... We've chosen a bunch of teams that are in the top 30 or relatively near the top 30 or Cloud9.
Or used to be in the top 30.
Yeah. Teams that exist. And we're going to try and diagnose their problems and see how we can fix it.
Yeah, this player break's coming up, so it's time to make some moves or work on your problems in other ways. If you're bit of a tryhard.
So this is in no particular order. I mean, it starts with just top of HLTV's rankings, and then we kind of got everywhere later down this list. So we'll start with Na'Vi. You don't think they need to make any moves?
They're the second best team in the world. They've got the best player of, I think, of all time.
Yeah.
Their roster is fine. I mean, I think the change they need to make is if they're going to make a change, I think it has to be Boomich. I think that's the only one that could possibly make sense. But I don't really see what in-game leader you can possibly get who speaks Russian, importantly, who would make this team better. I really struggle to see that.
I mean, there's just 2 main candidates for this non-existent job, right? Yeah. Which is One that a listener actually asked us today, which was Chopper, right? Which I don't know about. I mean, Chopper probably. I think that Chopper would leave Spirit for Navi if he was given the chance.
I don't know. I'm not so sure. Like, it depends what he thinks the ceiling of this team is. Is how I see it. If you're on Spirit, you're like, do I really think I could be? Do I really think this team could be the second, third, fourth best team in the world or the best team in the world? Like, do I really think that is something that is achievable within the next 2 years? And do I think that moving to Navi increases that chance? Maybe, but I mean, Spirit have already they already dragged themselves up through the rankings so much in the first place. Like, what? Why would you
Yeah.
necessarily think? Like, there have been tournaments where they've done better than Navi. It's not like a strictly upwards move. I mean, it's obviously a slight improvement, but it's not. I don't know. Maybe he would do it. Maybe he wants the challenge. Maybe he wants to work with Simple. I mean, nobody would begrudge him that. But it seems like quite an expensive move for what isn't necessarily a
A definite
obvious
upgrade.
upgrade on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, the other name that we keep seeing tied to Navi is Forrester, who's on Entropic, but I
I
don't
don't
think it's
get
an
this.
upgrade.
Navi are like just permanently linked with Forrester. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I've seen him play a few times and he's decent, but it's not like, I don't know. It's like this really weird obsession they have with him. It's really strange. I don't get it. I Blade. It might be a Blade thing where he just like sees this player and say, "I know this guy's really good." I mean, I'm not going to say I know better than Blade because I don't. And if he thinks Forrest is really good, then so be it. Like, maybe he's really good at the role that they need him to play, but they're just permanently linked with him, and it never seems to happen. It's like, I was going to make an analogy of like Wesley Sneijder to Man United, but yeah, that's wasted on you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm obviously wrong because I've just Googled it. But I was gonna say I feel like Blade and Forrester played together on one of the old like Flipside teams. I was
No,
wrong.
Forrest is a new kid. Blade just like permanently, like, he's obsessed with Counter Strike, and he just will just watch new players all the time to see if he can find somebody good. And he's pretty. I mean, he's obviously pretty good at it. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna like insult him and call him the CIS Sheikh Zula then, but I mean that's probably a little bit unfair. But he's that sort of in-game leader where
Yeah.
he's as much about finding and nurturing new talent as he is about creating system for the talent he currently has.
Yeah.
And that's a role he excels at. So again, if they do think Forrester is the guy they want, then sure. I seem to remember though, was it Blade? I might be making this up, but I'm fairly sure somebody back in the day tried to make Axile an in-game leader.
Oh God.
I think it was Blade. I could be completely off, but this was when Axile was on. Or was it still on Gambit Youngsters? I saw him play years ago, and I remember somebody saying that they thought he was going to be, they wanted to make him into an in-game leader, and obviously that didn't happen. And thank God it didn't,
Yeah.
because the
Really.
guy's insane. But yeah, I'm sure that was the thing. I might be going insane.
It's definitely possible.
It would have been on Gambit, or because the only other teams he's played for are Five Balls, who I don't think I've ever watched.
No.
Windstrike for one tournament and Covey for one tournament. So it must have been on Gambit or Gambit Youngsters, but
Yeah.
I could be getting him mixed up with somebody else.
Maybe it was Blade just trying to teach the youth in Russia, and then the youth absolutely overtook them.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of his role. He's like a walking version of that. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meme.
Splinter.
Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, with the four
Where
little
he's hugging
turtles.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Blade.
All right. A team that we want to see make moves, who needs to make a move, but we can't decide on what move they're going to make, is NIP.
Yeah,
They need a.
They need a fifth. I keep saying, but I just don't get it. Like, what? To be fair, Linus is a lot better than I thought he would be.
Yeah.
He's been a lot better than the previous fifth DTR. And maybe he is the fifth that they want to go with, but I think you need to make that permanent.
Yeah.
I get. I don't get it. I'm not going to say I get it. because I don't. But
Yeah.
they are clearly want to go with this rotating the academy players in and creating whatever. But that's fine. And if you want to do that, then go ahead. But I feel like you shouldn't be doing that if you're going to pay so much for an author. But I'm just rehashing our ground here. I don't know who they're going to get because I doubt they're going to pick a player off from Fnatic.
Yeah.
And the rest of Sweden's in a bit of a weird spot. It used to be that there was always like a third or fourth team that you could pick players from. But nowadays, when somebody signs a Swedish player, nobody knows who it is.
Yeah. Grab Pepsor from Fnatic. He's sitting on the bench doing nothing, man.
Nobody. If you can't get in that Fnatic team, you have to wonder, like,
Yeah,
is he actually any good?
Yeah. All right. So to recap on Nip, they need to do something, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna I'm all for saying, Linus, this is your spot,
but they need to do
do that. Yeah, like give him the spot and say you've got 6 months, or
just
make him like say put him on probation or something, but give him the spot. I would say that's just I think that's how I would run a team, but it's not my team, is it?
Yeah. So this is the next part in a larger discussion that we're gonna start having soon within the next couple of weeks. Is Astralis. Supposedly their contracts start letting them talk with other teams soon.
So today, on the day this is released, is I think the first day they can start conferring with other teams about joining them in January. So if you did want to sign them, you probably have to wait 6 months, or you sign the pre-contract and they go, look, they don't want to be on Astralis. Can we give you 100 grand and he just joins now, or whatever it is, or $1 million if you're an IP. Maybe that's who an IP need as the 5th. Maybe they're going to get Dupree.
I mean, Device's stock is just higher than anyone else on that team's by like a decent shot.
I think Glaive.
Okay,
Glaive has to be even.
Honestly, forgot about Glaive. But like then Zip or Aizyesque, right? Like his stock is just super high comparatively, and Dupree's somewhere in the middle. But
Dupree would be worth a lot more if he wasn't. He's like 28 now, I think.
Yeah,
somewhere around that. Which I mean, he's still got plenty of he's still got years of game, right?
Yeah,
but it's a little bit less fashionable. And
I mean, we've also seen like older former major winners come back and absolutely help a team of young people. I mean, Hobbit.
But we've also seen the complete opposite.
Yes,
where they leave their team and they just look like
absolute
bombs.
dog shit. Yeah,
yeah, like Seized, for example.
Well, not just Seized. Literally that entire Trident team.
Well, quite. But I was just picking an example. I didn't want to throw everyone under the bus. Just one player.
Oh no, we're throwing.
No, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if NIP did try and sign Dupree or Aizyesque or something. Maybe. Well, I mean, it depends how much Device sort of like burnt that bridge.
Well, and it also depends on the other part, which is that they're calling in Swedish on NIP right now, and Device knows Swedish.
Right.
So do any of the if we're talking about Astralis players moving to NIP, then they'd switch to English, I assume. I don't think any of them know Swedish as far as I'm aware. So that's another complication in the long list of complications with that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think calling in English would be a massive problem, but then if it slows it down by half a second, then that becomes a problem.
Yeah. So where do we think the rest of Astralis is going to? I think at this point we're all just assumed that they're not staying together past January, that they're completely rebuilding this team.
It's like actually surprisingly difficult to find spots for them.
Well, I feel like it's not hard to find a spot for Glaive. It's just going to be whoever will pay the most amount of money. Yeah, whoever will pay the most money for Glaive.
He's as close to a surefire signing as you can get, Glaive. I mean, I spoke about this, I think it was in our Discord to people, and I was like, well, you actually never know how good an in-game leader really is. And there is a chance that you sign Glaive and he isn't as good as you think he is at in-game leader. It's very low. Like, he is as close to a surefire thing as you're ever going to get. But, like, we've seen Carrigan on FaZe and it's not gone well. You've seen, like, Alex on C9, it didn't go that well. Like, these highly rated in-game leaders go somewhere else and things just don't click. Like, that is a real possibility, but Glaive is as close as you're gonna get to 100% sure that because he's
Glaive.
Astralis were unbelievable. Like, they were just ridiculous. But then, who is in need of an in-game leader who can, throw the money around? I think it's actually quite difficult to find a spot that makes sense for him.
I've got a team for it.
Hit me with it.
It's further down the list. Glaive spurs the NA revolution for Cloud9. If you can't beat him, join him.
I would genuinely enjoy that. I don't think Glaive would.
No,
it would be great fun. Hate it. But no, I mean, I can't see that happening.
No,
but it would be fun. It would be really fun
as hell. But there's no way it's happening.
Yeah, I think you're really struggling to find the spot. Like, maybe somebody has got more money. Like, we'll just throw money at him, and you'll see him on like an Evil Geniuses or something. Yeah. But all of the international teams that are any good are settled on an in-game leader. Like, Complexity aren't kicking Blame F. Mousesports aren't kicking Dexter.
Especially now, after Dexter's like gotten his feet, gotten his shit together, right? Like
exactly.
Like a month ago, we would have said they'd kick Dexter for Glaive any day of the week, but Dexter's gotten his shit together.
He's not going to go to Heroic because Cadian's a monster. Like, I mean, he's not going to. I don't think G2 are going to kick Nexa. Like, it's very difficult to actually find somebody who's going to throw money at Glaive and go,
And if they do kick Nexa, I'm not sure that G2 becomes better. I'm not sure that adding Glaive minus a Nexa. I think they'd become better, but not like...
Maybe not, yeah, it's probably diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting. I think it's easier to find a spot for somebody like Aizyesque, even though he's not as good as Glaive. He's a bit more of a player you just plug into a team. Like, you could easily just see him fitting on like EG or OG or something.
North 2.0? North 2.0?
Bring Aizyesque back. Somehow like drag config back. The problem is the Hyenas don't have an org, so
no, just get Aizyesque and Kiori to play together.
And MSL, why not?
Yeah, sure.
If he doesn't already have a team.
Just grab the entire Hyenas roster. That's all it is, and just throw Aizyesque in there.
Just have like an 8-man roster of just people who played for North previously. I mean, I would love it, but it's not going to happen.
It's the North support group.
I already run that. But that's something completely different. Yeah, I'd say it's actually quite difficult to find. I mean, I could see NIP maybe picking one of them up if they speak Swedish, but I mean, maybe, I don't know.
I think Zip
maybe
is probably...
FaZe Aizyesque? FaZe Glaive. Go for the Glaive Karrigan, like, double pivot. Like,
I think
they have 2 brains. 2 brains are bigger than 1.
I think they clash so much.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I think Dupree is honestly gonna pull a Hobbit. I think that's probably the best way for him to go.
That would be really fun, wouldn't it? If they all just went to like rubbish teams and tried to build them up.
Yeah,
that would be great fun.
I feel like A, that would be fun, and B, as we said, like Dupree's like 28, right? Like it's not like you're not getting Dupree to be Dupree.
I mean, he's still really decent.
He's still a good player, but you're not expecting him to do the same shit he did 2 years ago.
No, maybe not.
He got the Deagle Ace, right, on Overpass. Like, you're not expecting that same shit anymore.
I wonder. Sorry, I just had a thought, and it's I've got to say it until it swamps me. Liquid have fallen, right?
Oh God.
But like, what if they didn't have fallen? They just had Glaive instead.
We talked about this like a week or two ago.
I think it makes like a lot of sense. Like too much sense.
This is what I was saying. If you can't beat them, have them join you.
But like, I'd love to see what Glaive thinks of Stewie 2K.
Oh, he'd hate it. He'd hate the entire thing.
I think it would either be like a beautiful, good cop back, like cop movie dynamic.
Yeah.
Or they would just hate each other and it just wouldn't work. But like, there's a world where they're like buddy. It's like a buddy movie. Stewie 2K and Glaive.
because like from everything we know, Glaive is definitely the calculating IGL, and Stewie's just literally the best way to do it is sup bitch. It's the run through smoke, flash yourself through, and just fucking go, man.
Yeah, I mean he's relatively intelligent as a player. Well, probably as a
Yeah.
person as well. I mean, I don't know.
Oh no,
That's not like he's a relatively
Stewie plays.
intelligent player,
Yeah,
Stewie. It's just that he's very aggressive with it. I'm not sure, and he also, from from everything we hear, does a lot of in-game leading himself.
yeah. I've been told that his when Fallen got signed, what I heard was that Stewie was very very good at mid round calling, that he was less good at calling.
Yeah,
That mid rounds were great from him. He was that vocal member that they needed. All right, let's move on from Astralis though. Let's move on to Furia, which is another team in which we're talking about ex-MIBR people. Uh, they need to either figure out what they're doing with Junior or something with Junior. That's
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, we've been quite vocal about wanting Junior, wanting him to do well and thinking he's decent. But if you're
Mhm.
not going, if you don't think that's going to work, Cold Zero is right there. Like he's just asking to be picked up.
He's literally asking.
Or
Like,
Fallen when Glaive goes, Get them both. That'd be fun.
oh god, no, not again. You're gonna win 2 majors now.
I feel like Art and Cold Zero is that is a partnership that's born to happen.
Imagine Art and Fallen together.
You see, but like Cold Zero had like Taco, right? Where he was like, Taco,
Yeah.
go do all my you go be aggressive, you go die for me.
Steal the
Art will
ace
do
at the
that.
end.
Art will do that. He'll happily go and die for you.
I mean, you heard of Taka's great kill into Mirage Apps from Cat, right?
Yes. No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's my favorite. I think the CSGO account posted the video from Taco's POV one day without any context of just Taco getting the last kill on that round.
that
I
is
thought that was
brilliant
the
stuff.
funniest thing, man.
That is. I mean, you would it's got to win the round.
Yeah.
No time for sentiment here.
Yeah.
Get that
So
round one.
Furia, I think that basically your choice here is just decide on Junior or decide on Coldzera. I don't think Honda's the solution. I think Honda's a pretty good player once you get him like time to play, but I don't think he's the solution.
I mean, there are other solutions if
There are
you can't come to agreement with Cold Zero. Safe is a monster.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't, he's on. I think it's on Pain. He's
He's still on
he
Pain.
came through. He hadn't played CS for years. He started at 25 or something, and he's insane. He's an absolute monster.
He's just better.
Yeah, he's just better than everyone. Big Uzira, similarly. Not an AWPer, which could be an issue, but if it allows Art back on the AWP, I'm all for it. He's really good. Big Uzira is really, really good. There's lots of talent in Brazil that you can pick up. I mean, I'm a broken record, but there's Malbs.
I mean, yeah. Malbs is technically Guatemalan, though, so...
He speaks Portuguese.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the entirety of whatever the Taco project is at Godsent that does things.
Do Mal.
And there's also the entirety of whatever the MIPR project is at this point. Which...
Bolts?
Hold on.
I don't know. You pick up from that team.
Quick conversation about the MIBR project. They have an academy team for a team that is kind of sort of an academy team already.
Yeah.
So
MIBR is just sad to look at.
Where does that leave us on the chart? Are they like the Academy's academy team?
It's depressing, isn't it? Like, how do you have an academy team? I mean, they're a team that need to make changes. There's so much room to build like a second, actually, really good Brazilian team, and all of the talent is like split up. Like, I'm telling you, Brazil is the most untapped region at the moment. There's so much talent there, and South America. But
yeah. All right, let's move on to the next team. Cloud9 needs a roster. They said that when things calm down from the whole pandemic thing, that thing, that they were gonna start making an NA team again. We think it's time. Who's on that team? We don't have a good idea, except for the fact that they're going to pick up Bad News Bears.
Oh, Junior. He's the one.
Bad News Bears plus Junior?
Yeah, I mean,
Question
I'm
mark?
down.
Let's do it. All right. Well, we solved Cloud9.
You need to just get whoever hasn't gone to Valorant yet. They lost another one to Valorant recently in Cooper, right?
Cooper was in Valorant and then dipped from Valorant and then came back to Valorant. So
Yeah.
he's kind of everywhere there. I mean, in terms of like decent NA players who are still left, Pone Alone's still left. Like that New England Whalers team. That got dipped from New England Whalers. I mean, there's not that much in North America. I mean, you're
Swisher's
at
on
a
Bad News Bears, right?
Swisher's on Bad News Bears, yes.
That's all
Like
right. He's decent. Him and
it's
John
like,
Jr. You're pretty happy.
let's forget about Liquid for a second. Like it's Bad News Bears, then Triumph, then everyone else, and
Then EG.
like I mean EG, they don't even count. HLTV doesn't even count them for North America. Yeah. They're actually counted as number 3. Extra salts too, because technically they count.
What do you mean technically?
Well, no, they literally technically count because it's a Canadian, an American, and a Mexican all on the same team.
That's That's the 3 colors of North America.
I know, but when
they're the most North American team you can think of.
When you click United States on HLTV, it brings you the US team. It doesn't just go North America. Why there has to be a separate filter for US teams versus North America, I don't know, but there is.
There's damned Canadians, eh?
But like when Flom's joke of a team is like top 10, there's a problem with North America. So Cloud9, just fix it.
The last time I watched Mythic, they were being hard carried by Katie. So I don't know. I don't even know who's on that team anymore, but there's like they shouldn't be in the top 10.
No, I mean they're technically 14, but I'm pretty sure they've beaten half the teams that are above them. Like on any given day, they just don't play many tournaments. So,
like Cloud9 do want to build an NA roster, but it kind of just has to be Bad News Bears because what else are you going to do? Pick up people who lose to Mythic.
Yeah.
Is there some hype around Choco Check, or is that just because they're a bit insane?
I think it was because they were insane. But they've redone that lineup. So
okay. You can't keep up with NACS. People just change rosters every week. It's insane.
Yeah. Cloud9, just pick up an NA org. Any team. That's all it is. Preferably Bad News Bears.
Yeah, I mean that's the only one that really makes sense if you're going to pick up an NA team.
Who, by the way, great merch that says Save NACS on it, which I think is just fantastic. They're really leaning into it, and I love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a team that's dropped out of the top 30. The rest are team. I was going to say the rest are teams that dropped out of the top 30, but that's a lie.
Yeah, some pretty awful
that's
teams.
A lie. Let's talk about FaZe. They exist.
I think they almost have to just pick up some Astralis players and but then they don't have. I don't think they have the money to anymore. Like, no, I don't know what they do. Like they needed to pick up some like new young talent. The one thing they did do well was when they picked up both Beamus and Brokey is they found young talent that nobody else was even particularly bothered about, and have turned both of them into decent enough tier 1 players. Brokey's probably a bit better than that. Beamus is very young, very raw, but
he's obviously been good.
Yeah, mechanically he's good enough for tier 1 CS. It's just he just needs to learn how to play.
I mean, he's like 17 or some shit like that.
Yeah, he's a baby. Like, got loads of time. But that's one thing. I don't know if that was led by Nico or if it was led by somebody else. But that's one thing they did do well was find talent. New talent, but
from out of nowhere, yeah.
And then they signed Twists, who we all know is really good, but for whatever reason, like this team just doesn't really work. And then you just sign Olofmeister. You're like, okay, we need to find a replacement for Olofmeister because this isn't a long-term solution, and it is a long-term problem. So yeah, you've got to find somehow somebody who's young, but that can replace Olofmeister.
Do I have the solution for you?
I don't know, do you?
It's an ex-North player.
Oh, I'm on board. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm on board.
Just literally pick any ex-North
Yeah,
player,
yeah.
and there you go.
Yugi, yeah, get him in.
No, not Yugi. That's a poor decision. Don't do Yugi. I don't count Yugi as an ex-North player at this point. I don't know why, but just don't. Not Yugi. Anyone else?
Yugi's coming back.
Oh, is he now?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. Not to FaZe. He's not going to FaZe, but
just go and grab like
he's
Mertz. That would be an upgrade over Olafmeister.
Mertz he's decent, man. It's just I think he
is. That wasn't a dig at him or anything.
Yeah, no, he is decent. It's just you hear you do hear bad things about him sometimes, but I think he's probably matured past the sort of more negative sides of his gameplay. But I mean, even if they exist, like it's FaZe Clan, like they're not averse to it anyway.
And he's on Nordavind right now.
Yeah,
I can do English. Who actually have a decently stacked roster and now have a coach.
Yeah, Mix, right?
Yeah, Mix got signed there, so maybe we'll see Mertz. But like literally if you go to the North HLTV page and just randomly point your finger at the screen, right? That whoever your finger lands on will be better than Olafmeister.
I think Zipnix could be a fit for that team.
Zip could be a fit. Zip's also old.
He's also got 2 X's in his name, which like really plays into like the FaZe. You know what I mean? Like they're all COD players, FaZe Clan. Yeah. XX, no scopes, XX. Kind of works.
he's got the name ready and everything.
Yeah. Like his name kind of fits. He's okay. I mean, obviously he's not really young, but he's not that old. I don't think Zipnix. He's only like 27 or something. It's a few years younger than Olafmeister, I think. Probably a bit better than Olafmeister. Much of a muchness, but I don't know. I feel like that is a move that almost makes sense. He knows Carrigan obviously quite well. I mean, FaZe Zipnix to me makes a lot of sense. It's just I don't know if FaZe are willing to spend that on Zipnix.
Yeah, but let's be real here. FaZe Magisk or FaZe Dupree makes way more sense, just based off of what does FaZe like to do, which is just grab every person who can fire gun good.
Yeah, but Carrigan's a little bit smarter than that, I feel.
Yeah,
but then again, Carrigan was the in-game leader of the Guardian, Olafmeister, Ray, and Nico team. So maybe I'm talking nonsense. Maybe it'll just be like, I could turn, I can fix him.
I can make Dupree a support player. Let's go.
You could easily do it with Magisk. Magisk can kind of fill any role.
All right. Fnatic. Yep.
Yeah, no.
All right, and we'll move on now.
I've heard Fnatic are making changes very shortly, and they're kind of. I'm not permitted to sort of tell people what they are, but I'm kind of excited by them if what I've heard.
If they are what you think they are,
yeah.
All right. Okay. So I mean, we can speculate about these, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I really would have thought Fnatic probably need an in-game leader. Golden has not been working.
No, he's not the
solution. And they probably want to replace JW. Pepzor seemingly isn't an option. I mean, surely if he was any good, they would have tried him by now.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at 1 or 2 players, minimum in-game leader. I would be really surprised if they... Well, I would have been really surprised if they didn't throw loads of money at Glaive. Because...
I mean, they still might. They have the possibility of it.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. Like, the Astralis players have to be pretty, like, some of the highest, like, properties on the market. The only other option I can see is you just, like, get Lekro back, which... He's been really good on Dignitas. Like, really good.
Yeah.
I
like, scarily good.
Yeah, going back to an old player when it didn't really work that well the first time is, like, kind of feels bad, but there's not a whole lot of talent in Sweden. You picked up what you thought was the good talent, and you won't even play him. So, at this point, you've got to You either have to go international somewhat, or or you just like take a risk on some more Swedish talent and hope this one works.
Yeah. Fnatic's in a weird place. There's not
Yeah.
much. Extremum, I think they just disband at this point. Like they tried the disbanding thing, right? I think they just like actually need to do it.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, Extremum. There was some sort of hype around them for whatever reason. When we've already seen this team with JKS and they were good, but then like you don't have
Well,
JKS. You
well,
replace him with
this was
BNT,
the
which is like fine, but
I was
JKS was clearly the best player.
this was the legitimate real life scenario of if you can't beat them, join them, right? Like Bentet was the kryptonite in Asia for this team, so they just said we're gonna take Bentet, especially
I
since he was on no contract from Gen.G. Like,
I will say, to play devil's advocate, they haven't, like, now that things are opening up again, they might be able to travel and play against international teams. We might see a bit more of them because what
we
we've
haven't
seen
seen a
is
huge
quite,
amount of them.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
and B, we might see them against better opposition, and that might help them improve because these players are somewhat talented. Like, it's not like they're a complete shit show. This is a
yeah.
decent team. I just don't think it's going to ever be that good, and I think there's probably a world where JKS goes back,
I think that's definitely an existent world because
but I
I
don't know who you even take out at this point.
take Bentet out. You just go back to the old Renegades roster. Say fuck it.
It just seems like
It's the chemistry, man. That's what you care about. It's the chemistry. It's about the vibes.
I don't know, man. It's about the vibes. It's I don't know, man. I think you try. Like, I think if you want Extreme to actually be good, you have to try and fit both B and Tet and JKS in. If that's the case,
Probably take Liaz out at that point, but
I like Liaz. I'd probably take Grat out,
so
to be honest. Play without an AWPer.
nah, just JKS primary up, easy.
Yeah, or something like that. I don't think Grat's particularly good, so I'd probably take him out. But they're a
Yeah,
team that, I mean, until recently I'd forgotten about.
yeah,
I just forgotten this team existed. But I think part of that is probably due to the pandemic. But that is a team that probably does need to make some sort of change, whatever that change is.
yeah. I mean, like, let's. I want to talk about Jacob for half a second. I'm not sure his. I I'm pretty sure he made the most lateral move in history from moving from Apex to Extremum.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is exactly the same as it was, and because everyone was making a big deal about like, he left the team, he just signed with, and he was like, we're gonna make uh we're gonna make Norwegian CS good again, and like, uh, it's just
He
he's
just
on,
gave up on it. Yeah.
yeah. um, let's talk about a team that's it's a little bit bigger than Extremum, Vitality. Um, we don't know what they need to do, but
Yeah,
something is the answer.
it's like weird. Like, this team made a sideways move replacing RPK for Kyojin, who's fine, but like whatever. And it's somehow like Masuta's now a monster, but they still don't really look like winning a tournament. I don't really know what the fix is for them, but it seems like they need to change. They're not going to make a coaching change because everyone loves the coach XTQZZ or
Yeah,
whatever it is. And
it's
you're
like
obviously
seven
not going to
Z's.
cut. You're obviously not going to cut Ziwu or Masuta or Kyojin.
No,
So
no, I think that's what you do. I think you cut Zyra. Simple. It's
yeah, for
just
Kenny
it's easy.
S.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were on board
Yeah.
then. Or
Okay.
did you just have?
Yeah.
Did you just go Zywoo and Kenny S?
Yeah. Exactly. Put that
And you
Zyra on the
cut
right
like
foot.
Apex or something. You just don't go with an in-game leader.
I mean, as terrifying as that sounds, I'm not sure that that's actually the worst thing no team
You just
could
have
find.
Shocks in-game lead, just like the good old days. Have Shocks take the AWP off both Kenny S and Zywoo whilst in-game leading.
Yeah. Exactly.
At
I
least
mean,
it'd be a throwback. That'd be fun.
there's also a second good French team now, which didn't exist, and I say good with like a
Double
large amount of,
pony.
yeah, which has decent players on it, and you can move players up.
Maybe get Afro. Is it Afro? Is he the good one?
Yeah, Afro or Joko are the two like super names.
Joko, yeah.
Did you know that NBK is not on that team anymore?
Oh, yeah, he's been teasing about an announcement on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's just had some of the Hyenas fans in a bit of a fit because they've been waiting for an
NBK to
announcement for a week.
Hyenas.
I don't think there's anything in it, but it'd be
Just
kind
shit
of
talking.
amusing. I don't
All
really
right.
like MBK, but it'd be kind of amusing.
All right, so we got one last team, and there's one solution to this team's problems, and it's big, and the answer is plus Fathom. And this
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm
He's
pretty sure
he's the I don't want to say he's the only good player in Germany that isn't on big, but he might be the only good player in Germany who's not on big.
Yeah, and last week there were weird Midas Xantares rumors that I don't think had any actual weight behind them because of the Woxic rumors.
Yeah.
But like with that, like if that happened, well, we know who the fifth would be.
Yeah, that is like the only replacement. Unless there's some other German team that I know nothing about where there's just like this ungodly player. But
I don't think that other German teams like really exist. Alternate Attacks is the other one that exists, and the best player on that team is Crystal.
I haven't watched them. I might have watched them once. Crystal is not the best player on that team. He's the most well known. He's not the best player on that team. I'm telling you, Crystal has never been the best player on his team. He's a good in-game leader, Crystal. A very intelligent bloke, but
apparently Crimbo or Panix are the best players. Neither of which I can truly say are probably the best player.
But it's not Crystal.
It's not Crystal. You're right. Crystal's the only known player on that team.
I put Crystal in my like the Ballers blog I did for TLDR.
Yeah.
And I like made a joke about how him playing on a team is like if Ash Ketchum beat the Elite Four by fist fighting a Charizard. He's the only in-game leader good enough to win with Crystal on his team. And he was just like, he just responded with like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "No, it's fine. I quite like it." I'm like, "Yep." I mean, at least he's not delusional about it. He's like, he knows what his role is. Fair enough.
Hey guys, quick note from the editor's desk. As you may well know, we've been running a promotion for the last couple of months for referral for our podcast. If you go into the description below, there's a link where you can refer 3 friends and you can unlock a bunch of CSGO stickers shipped to your house. We have our first set of people getting shipped their stickers now, including Arthur, Musty, and Spencer. So if you're one of those people, look out for the stickers coming. And if you're not, it's easy enough to just refer 3 of your friends, and then you'll be in the line to get the CSGO stickers. All right, back to the podcast. All right, let's move on to the execute. We've got 2 things. We got Sinners, who have done an ungodly amount of work. How in 5 seasons they've gone from existing as a team in ESEA Open to having a pro league spot, which is ridiculous.
Could you imagine playing an ESEA Open? You're like queuing up with your mates, and Oscar comes in and drops 45 on you. But like, what was I supposed to do? Like, we're like, yeah, no, we'll just play train, and then Oscar just comes in, like, jumps up the ladder and no scopes you. You're like, oh yeah. Yeah, I guess, dude. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Like, Oscar was a really, really good player for a while on Mouse Sports, and then he just wasn't a good player, and now is a good player again.
Yeah, he was the best player at the ESEA Premier, right? And he was the highest rated player, but he was alongside his teammate Neofrag. I looked this up earlier, and I just wanted to make sure I had it right. A guy called Neofrag, who also had like a 1.25 rating over the event. And it's a full Czech team, which is kind of fun because we haven't seen one of those at the top level of CS. Well, certainly CSGO, possibly at CS at some point, but I don't remember. But it's kind of fun to see Oscar back. I mean, and doing it with, doing what you said previously that you kind of hope Dupree does, like bringing up this national team of young kids and
except Cadian's doing that in Denmark right now. So
well, yeah.
Cadian's already taken the role it's filled. Go somewhere else.
But yeah, it's fine. It's a full Czech team. They're now got a pro league spot because Oscar and Neofrag just went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun team to watch too. It's not like it is just watching Oscar play is just fun. It's always been fun to watch Oscar play
Yeah,
because his opping style is so different than everyone else's,
he's such
in
an
my head at
unusual player
least.
as well.
Yeah,
Like he's really really streaky.
he's
If he
extreme,
gets on fire, he is unstoppable. But if he gets cold, he's also unstoppable. Just the other
but
way.
in the other way. Yeah,
Yeah, he's like unstartable, I guess.
yeah. Um, and you wanted to talk about Mouse's academy team.
Yeah, so we obviously spoke earlier about the MIBR Academy, and there's a bit of a rumor that there's going to be some sort of academy league, which I think we might have mentioned previously. But Mouse Academy announced their team with a Hungarian player called Torsi, or it might be pronounced Torshi. I'm not 100% sure, but he was kind of hyped. He was on Budapest 5, and he was like seen as the best prospect out of Hungary for a long time. And they like his team were like, yeah, he's been bought out by somebody, we can't say who. Good luck to him or something. There was some rumors about it. It turned out he ended up on Mouse Academy, which doesn't seem like a massive upgrade to me at first. And he certainly doesn't seem to think it's an upgrade either, because in his first game, or is it like his first or his second game, they
I
played
think it was his
Spirit
first game.
Academy. I'll just make sure. I think it was his first, but I just want to make sure.
I'm pretty sure
First
it's one
game
of one game.
against Spirit Academy. It was his first best of 3, but he played against Gamer Legion the same day. But he played a best of 3 against Spirit Academy, and in 2 maps, no overtimes, he dropped 66 kills. It's absurd. Like it just absolutely obliterated. Like first map, he went 30. He dropped 36 kills. It's just insane. Like he got 36 kills on the map 1, 30 on map 2 in like less than 60 rounds. Absolutely obscene. 106 ADR on an AWPer. 40 of his kills are with the AWP. It's absolutely insane. I don't know. Like somebody, it's almost like it looks like he might be too good for Mouse Academy. I know it's like one game, or he's played 2 games now, but that is like smurfing levels. Like that is what you'd expect if you just took like Device and put him down there. Like 66 kills in like 55 rounds. Something that is incredible. The guy is just it's absolutely destroyed. For reference, the second highest fragger in the lobby was Patsy on Spirit Academy with 44.
Sounds about right.
Like nobody got close to as many kills. This is one of the most dominant performances I've ever like seen. Yeah, so like this Mouse Academy is like a really odd mix. It's like a Hungarian, 2 Poles, an Israeli, and a German. Torsi was the only one on there I'd heard of previously. And so he was a little bit hyped, and I hadn't really like seen much of him, so I sort of looked into him when it came up. But yeah, like he just it's like first game Mouse Academy. I'll just check how that went. Yeah, 66 and 33. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty solid. Give him that.
Just kind of good. Just kind of good.
Yeah, so I want to keep my eyes out on Mouse Academy and see if this guy is like, it's just the next Zywoo or what.
All right, let's move into overtime, our listener mail section. We have some mail today, as we do every week. Let's go with the rapid fire question first. So someone's asked us 4 questions in one. What is the Navi map pool? Whatever HLTV says it is.
Yeah, there's like I don't know, like there's that meme in League of Legends where it's like, I think it's for Broken Blade, where it's like, what can he play? Like, what's his champion pool? And the guy just goes, not this, not this, not this, not this, maybe this. Like every week he plays something new. It's like, yeah, no, he can't play that. It's kind of how I feel about Navi. So I was like, yeah, not Ancient. Yeah, can't play that. Yeah, I think they played Ancient and it just looked horrible.
Yep.
The thing is, the way Navi play, they kind of just don't have a map pool. They just play, no map pool, just vibes.
They just pug every map.
Yeah,
it's not like
they're so inconsistent. It doesn't really matter what map they're on. I don't really see them.
What good has Nexa done as an IGL?
It's a bit like what have the Romans done for us question. I mean, G2 are like consistently top 4 at events. Pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not sure the question is like, I'm not sure the question should be what good has Next done as an IGL, but like more of what bad hasn't he done, if that makes sense. Like, he hasn't been a bad IGL, which is
He hasn't
really,
completely fucked it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He hasn't completely shit the bed, which is like more than I can say out of a lot of IGLs.
Yeah, he hasn't let Nico take over yet, so that's
Yeah,
good.
I mean that's honestly that's a pretty good part that he hasn't had Nico start calling. That's
That's how you know you're doing badly when Nico's just like, yeah, fuck this, I'm doing it myself. So he must
what's
be
the
all right.
what's the weirdest rumor you've heard about the new Astralis?
The fact that they couldn't like convince Farley to join them is to me is just funny. That's all of the things I've heard I've sort of put out, which are like Farley, Acor, Blame F, Config, all turned them down, which is just insane to think about from like a year ago. Like Farley and Acor turning them down. That's that's all I've heard about the new Astralis.
You ready? I've got the weirdest rumor I've ever heard.
Oh,
Bad News Bears is getting picked up by Astralis, and that's a rumor I just started. So
yeah, I mean,
there we go.
I've at least heard people vaguely reputable say the ones before.
Yeah, no, I'm not reputable at all. I'm like very serious about this. This is the weirdest rumor you've heard now. When will Hyenas reveal their org? I'm not sure.
Probably when they get one.
Yeah, yeah.
Would be
Probably
my
when
guess.
they get one.
I don't think I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's a roster move.
I think there's going to be a couple roster moves.
I think for Hyenas, it's just the one.
I think for Hyenas, okay. Someone else would like to know the maps ranked from best to worst in our opinion.
Overpass is the best, then Nuke.
Overpass is a god tier map.
It's Overpass, then Nuke, then there's just like a giant chasm, and then it's like, just the middle tier maps, just like Ancient, Mirage.
I said this before, but Train.
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting Train, then that's like the third best.
I mean, I'm not, but like, Train is just still better than.
Yeah, the worst one's obviously. So the worst one's obviously Dust 2.
Yeah.
The slightly better one is Inferno, and then you're looking at the sort of middle. You go
Mirage is at the bottom.
I don't know. I feel like Mirage is better than Ancient's probably the third best map in the pool right now.
Yeah, I think Vertigo is like smack in the middle.
I put Vertigo below Mirage. I think I put Mirage in the middle.
Wait, are we talking about hold up? Are we talking about to watch or are we talking about to play? Because those are two different lists.
They're both pretty similar to me, to be honest. I don't think there's much difference for me.
I think playing Nuke is way more fun than watching Nuke.
True, but watching it still
watching it is still good.
Still fine for me.
Yeah. I think Inferno is fun to watch depending on the game because a lot of the times Inferno is a really tightly contested map. So you get
it can be fun to watch, but then there's no retakes because the map doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And there's just loads of smoke bangs and just made nonsense. I don't know, it just annoys me.
I mean, but we can both agree that Train's better than a good chunk of the maps that are there right now.
I think so.
I'd agree. I think we just need just plus Cobblestone plus Train and we'll be fine. 9 map pool.
I don't know about Cobble, man. That map was fun, and then they kind of. I'm not getting into it. We're already too long. I'm not getting into a discussion about Cobble.
How do you feel about BayZ? Does it give you a mental boost to keep going, or is it just a title to you?
This is like a Twitch meme about based, right? I think. I'm 25. I'm too old for this shit. I don't understand Twitch memes anymore. I still think Copium's funny. I think everyone's moved on from that. I still think it's funny. So, I'm just gonna say it makes me feel good.
Okay. You want to take these last 2 questions? Because I don't.
We had one that I promised to answer because it came in too late last week from Throb Goblin. Great name. Can Guardian still make a comeback, and do we think that English-speaking teams have an inherent disadvantage because of how clunky and inefficient the language is? I assume he deliberately chose lots of long words in that second sentence to make it really obvious how clunky and inefficient the language is.
I hope he didn't, and it's just how it happened to turn
Yeah, I
out.
mean, it's entirely possible he's just eloquent, but
Yeah.
Can Guardian still make a comeback? Probably, if he really wanted to, but I'm not sure he does really want to. It's all about how hard he wants to grind. Given he didn't really want to grind that hard when he was on Na'Vi 3 years ago, I doubt all of a sudden he's like, yo, I'm going to work really damn hard now on
He was on Na'Vi
playing
3 years ago?
I've pulled a number out my ass, so like I hope.
I think he was on Phase 3 years ago. I think it was Na'Vi 4
Didn't he then go from Phase to Na'Vi or something? Didn't this happen? Am I going mad? Am I hallucinating?
I thought he just got benched from Phase and that was it.
I could have sworn he like went back to Na'Vi for like 3 months and was just awful.
I mean, that's possible, but like, I also like.
Yeah, he went back to Na'Vi. He played it. I
was just saying, I guess
Malmo for them.
I've just blocked that part out of my mind.
Yeah, so. I mean, you were probably right to it. He was horrible, but like, he also played. He played for Dignitas at Flashpoint. That would be fun if that happened again, but it won't. And say it really depends if he wants to join. The ideal thing for him is to join this like Slovak team and like grind his way up. Yeah, but I'm not sure how much he wants it. You say do an Oscar. He's actually stood in for Sinners recently, I think. Interestingly, but yeah,
isn't he standing in for Trident right now with Seized?
Yeah, he's been playing for Trident and Sinners. He's kind of been standing in. He's kind of like a renter player at the moment. I think he can. I don't think he will because I think it would take too much effort. The English-speaking team's point. I'm not well versed enough in other languages, realistically, to know how much clunkier and inefficient other languages are.
It's fucking terrible.
Almost certainly, but I think you can make it simpler if you just use small words. Why use big word when small word do trick?
I have a quick thing. We have a confirmation that tomorrow is the Astralis Core Day.
Ah, so we do.
It has been confirmed mid podcast.
Yeah, we got confirmation from Phil. But yeah, I think the English language can be as difficult or as easy as you want it to be. I don't think there's an inherent disadvantage to using English unless you aren't a native. If you're not a native speaker, I can see that being the case. But if you're like native or like near native, like I mean, Scandinavians have like fluent English.
Yeah, I think
you're okay.
Yeah, but if you're learning English to play on a team, I think that's when it gets
gonna be hard. Yeah.
Who is it? Was it Jax who went through like English lessons to play on G2? I think it was.
Yeah, his English isn't
apparently
phenomenal.
It's good enough now, but like,
yeah, he really struggled to face. He has a really strong accent as well.
Yeah.
Now, even when he speaks,
I mean,
we have the last few weird questions. Somebody just asked why, so I don't know, just kind of fancied it. Do you smoke? No, I don't. I have smoked things in the past, but nowhere near regularly. And the last one was from a school friend of mine, who asked, fuck, marry, kill, JW, Dozier, and then a teacher we had at school. And I won't say anything about that teacher at school other than it was a female teacher, and I'll put Dozier at fuck and JW at marry. So, that's all I've got to say.
All right. Well, on that, thank you for watching or listening this week. Please remember to rate and review us and follow us on Twitter at Logan Ramhap, at Aizyesque, and at ReadTLDR. We'll be back next week for our Cologne preview, and hopefully something will have happened.
We somehow got an hour out of this without anything happening.